Hello, hello! It's another day, another cosplay, another stream. Hello, hello. It is 6:04, so I'm a little bit late, but not as bad as I have been. I'm trying to get better about it. I had some stuff to get set up today, so. But today is going to be a super chill stream. So I hope that is going to be alright. I'm going to be mixing some paints, so I have a little jar here that I'm going to mix my paints in so I can put a lid on it and keep it for later and kind of keep paint colors consistent, but I'm not too worried about it being perfect. This is perfectly fine with me if I have different colors and different amounts of brown and black paint. But today we're going to be painting a bunch of vines. It's the vines that I've been burning for the past couple streams. So we're going to get those painted and hopefully make some progress on that, because spray painting ended up not working very well. So we're going to end up trying something new with this acrylic. I'm sure there's a faster way to do it, but this is what I'm going to go with for now. But yeah, I hope that sounds fun and interesting. If not, I am very sorry. But that is the schedule for today, is just some painting and keeping it really chill today. Let's see if we can get a little bit better angle. Yeah, until I get a wireless keyboard, those wires kind of chill out up in that top corner. So I'll try and keep that nice. And then of course we have to have our Magikarp. Magikarp is now going to be a staple in every single stream. It's like a hidden Mickey, but hidden Magikarp. But yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. I haven't picked out which brush I'm going to use. I'm probably going to use something like this very old one that's seen some things. It has been with me for a while. If you see the blue and the purple paint on it, it was from my Gwendolyn cosplay. I painted a few hundred feathers, purple and blue, varying shades and metallics and all that good stuff. Put a lot of work into that one. Definitely does not fit anymore, but yeah, I love looking back at my paintbrushes and seeing what I did with them. Like I remember this one specifically because I used this. It's absolutely destroyed. I should toss it. It still has paint like stuck in it, but I can see the metallics on it where I painted all of the lines and stripes for Beatrice years and years ago. So yeah, a little walk down memory lane when I look at my paintbrushes, so I'm kind of hesitant to throw them away, even if they're not very functional anymore. But anyways, we'll probably stick with this one for now unless I find one that ends up being better. I'm not entirely set yet on how I'm going to be doing this. It's going to be kind of just learning, seeing what we can do. Let's see. Because I have so many different sizes and shapes and all that stuff that I've just collected over the years. But the main goal, basically, we really want to get these stems painted. Or I say stems, I guess that's what you would call it. Oh, my brain is not working today. But the green here, we're basically trying to cover all the green and paint it black or brown. Just kind of make it look dead. Dead inside. Like many of us. But anyways. But yeah, I covered my desk in parchment paper, so I don't have to worry as much about messes. I have my gloves nearby. I'm glad I thought about that. Speaking of messes, I know that tends to be a little bit messy. Oh, my gloves are over there. Grab those real fast. Alright. Yep, so we got some gloves. But yeah, I'm a little bit lower energy today. I've been struggling pretty hard with the whole sewing aspect. I'm just not able to get the shape of the bodice down like I'm trying to do. and it's just not turning out well. So I'm a little subdued today. I'm sorry. Hopefully the stream will still be interesting, or at least nice and chill, and you can just relax, hang out with me for a bit, and just chat if you feel like it. But no pressure. Good to see everyone, and let's get started. So for the stems, I definitely want to do something that's a smaller brush instead of going full in with this big, where I don't even know where I put it. Did I put it back in here? I did. Instead of going with a very, very wide brush, I'm kind of just going to go with a smaller one. My poor paintbrushes have been through a lot, but yeah, that should work fine. I'm not worried about covering every single thing. Like every single bit does not have to be painted and covered and looking good, but I do want to get a fair bit of it painted. So I'm gonna start with the black. I've had this jar of acrylic paint for the longest time. I think I actually stole it from my sister. She is an artist. A few years back, and I have never had a chance to use it because mostly I use like a bunch of bright colors for cosplays. So let's see. I'm just gonna kind of pour this in here. And it's not going to be straight black. I am going to add some of this brown to it as well, just so it's not completely monochromatic. And I know I'm going to use quite a bit of it, so I'm going to pour all of this in here. Hi again. I've been very, very quiet today, so he's like, oh, you're talking? Is it time to socialize? Are we going to party now? Say no, we're not going to party. Let's see if I can get his nose in this. Again, come here. Yeah, see there, got a snoot. Got a little snoot. Boop. He's a good boy. But, yeah. I'm wearing a pajama shirt because I am super chill. I know, buddy. I know. Hi. I know, you're a good boy. Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and add some of this brown as well. I don't know how much I want to add, just because I'm kind of content with it being mostly black. The brown is just like a little bit extra to it. And I am obviously not a professional painter in any way, shape, or form, nor will I ever pretend to be. So I think the good part about this is that it doesn't have to be perfect, so I can kind of just somewhat mix it together and that'd be all right, even if it's not perfectly mixed. I kind of played with the idea of putting texture into the paint, so something gritty to make it look a little bit grosser, but I decided against it. I thought it might look a little bit weird, and I don't want to mess up a whole bunch of paint if that ends up looking too bad. So yeah, so it's hard to tell, but that is kind of mixed in there. It's still mostly black, which is fine. I'm not gonna be picky. But you know what, let's actually add a little bit more brown. So just a smidge more. We can mix that in there and see how that looks. I like mixing in bigger batches because then I can just keep this one color, put this, or put a lid on this, like an airtight lid, and then come back to it later. So I don't have to keep mixing, which is always nice. Yeah, I'm going to leave it kind of a little bit swirly with the brown, just because I actually do kind of like the way it looks. But let's set this one aside for a little bit later, and we'll get started with this one. Say, but Doodle, you already have so much paint. Why are you trying to get all of that over there? Because I can. And I might end up trying some dry brushing techniques with it, where I just wipe most of the paint off and just keep on a little bit. We'll see. I haven't done any paint tests with this, aside from my very initial ones, so we'll see how that looks. And I'm going to try not to overload how much paint I get on the brush, only because I really need this to dry quickly so that I can move on. It's like I have all this covered, but I don't want the paint to get everywhere. So get a little bit of this off here. And generally, especially whenever I was doing Gwendolyn years back, I tried to keep paint on the edges so that it had a little bit to go off of instead of dipping the whole brush in there, which helped significantly. So yeah, just trying to get the majority of this covered. Actually, let me go ahead and put a glove on this hand. I'll try and keep my right hand clean so I don't have to worry about putting a glove on, but my left hand I would rather have one where I could be a little bit more messy and grab as I need to and kind of turn, because I am going to have to cover both sides of the vines. But I kind of do like the idea of having some of the green poking through still, because if you have enough of it kind of mottled in there, it doesn't show as much. And you know, I'm wondering, I had a brush for the skeleton, if you were here for that, and that actually went much better whenever I used my fingers. So let's actually try that and see how that looks. Do that. It may not work at all, but you know what? It actually works. All right, so looks like we're changing techniques like 1 minute into the painting. And it's a lot more fun this way anyways. All right, so we're gonna do some finger painting, it looks like. kind of finger painting. All right. So let's do like this, and now we can have some fun with it. Oh yeah, this is much more fun. Plus I can get all of this. Oh, I'm so excited. I should not be this excited about this. This is actually going to be kind of therapeutic now that I think about it. I'm here for this. 10 out of 10. Okay, you out of the way. We're having fun, we're finger painting. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go and then repaint all of the leaves after I paint the stem. Nope, I can just do it all at once. And I was like, oh, how am I going to get all these crevices? Oh, this is going to take forever. Nope. Nope, it's not. Kind of feel like I should break out the wood paint just for fun. The only downside that I see with acrylic paint is that it does end up being kind of heavy, but I don't think I'm going to be using enough on these leaves for it to cause a significant amount of weight to be added, but if it does, that's okay. So that is one thing I was kind of worried about, is that it does feel kind of sticky on my hands. So I don't know much about paint. Again, I'm not a painter. I'm not an artist. This is not my medium of choice. So I'm wondering if I can add water to it to kind of water it down, but I don't want to dilute the dyes and pigments too much, because I still need this to be, you know, usable. All right. If nothing else, I can go back and paint with my hands, or like with a paintbrush, the leaves. Because like I don't want this to look like I put no effort in. I just really like the way this looks. But I'm wondering if touching it again, oh yeah, so touching it again is taking that paint off of the stem. So we're going to try and do this in one pass instead. We'll just kind of go and then move so that we're not spending too much time. So let's move you closer. This is kind of one of my nicer glass bowls, so I don't want to get paint all over it. I mean, it's glass, so it's going to wash out, but... And I could probably go back with brown at a later time and just do some little highlights if I feel like it. Hi again. He's right at my elbow. He's like, hey, what you doing, Mom? Yeah, you have some stinky breath, buddy. I know. Okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of liking the green that's peeking through still. It's like, I'm just afraid it's gonna come off as lazy, like, oh, you didn't paint it all the way black, why not? It's because I kind of like the way it looks. Let's get this curled because I don't want it to go over there just yet. I want it to dry as much as it can. Oh, let me toss this in the water so it doesn't get messed up too bad. It's already kind of messed up, let's be honest. Okay. So I did actually try using like fabric dye to see if I could dye the leaves instead of doing like a paint like I am right now. And it did not make any kind of difference. So that is why I am here doing this instead, which isn't bad. I'm okay with this. It is actually harder to get the leaves than it is the stem, or the actual vine part, which is surprising. I did not expect that. I kind of figured it'd be harder to get the burned crevices, but this is kind of just like overall the leaves in general are a little bit harder. So what I might do is I might go and get all the leaves and then come back and get the stem, just so I don't have to worry too much about taking off that paint. Yeah, let's do that. And I will probably go back a little bit later and cut off or pull off some of these leaves. Yeah, it's drying. Oof, it's drying kind of quickly. I said I would go back and get the stems, but here I am doing it now. It's fine, it doesn't take long. Let's actually move this out of the way. There we go. Oops, that was way more than I wanted to grab. I know you want attention. I'm sorry. You have ignored me all day today until I started to do a hello, until I started talking. Yeah, I know you can't see the brown in this, and I kind of don't like that, but that's okay. We'll improvise. Yeah, see, this dries really kind of quickly, so the stem gets very tacky very quickly. Okay, honey, you need to back off. Go, 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 go. He's like, no, you need to pay attention to me. Yeah, so I'll probably hit leaves like this, and then go and hit stem and move on. I wonder how this will look on the leaves that are not burned. This is one of the first vines that I did where I burned all of them instead of only doing like half and half. So it's a little bit more complicated. And I told myself it would be complicated and that I should probably paint before burning, but did I listen? Of course not. I gave in to my impulses and did all the burning. And depending on how fast this goes, I might end up doing a little bit more today. I kind of figured it would take a lot longer than this. So we may have time to do some of the burning. Because that hasn't gotten old at all. This and this. Yeah, if in the end I think it's still a little bit too green, I'll go back with brown paint instead of black, just to add some dimension to it. But I do have brown paint in here. You can't really see it just because my camera is not the best, but there is brown in here. And honestly, depending on time, I might go back anyways and do some brown. If I like the way it looks, and if the brown is, or if the black is just too monochrome for me, then yeah, I'll definitely go back. But we are on a timeline. We have 10 days to get this done, and I'm hoping that me doing all of these bits will make it easier once I actually do get the dress drafted up and sewn. I'll just be able to throw all of the lovely details on and together, and we'll be good. But if not, it's okay. It is not the end of the world if I do not get this finished. This is kind of a little personal project. This character is one that I discovered on my run, on my Dark Souls run with my boy whenever we were long distance. This was something that we bonded over. was Dark Souls, because we had to play some kind of video games to have date night with, and this is one of them. I did horribly. He carried me for the entire game, but I still had a lot of fun. Dark Souls means a lot to him, so it was nice kind of experiencing that with him, seeing his favorite things, because he has definitely done the same with me. In fact, last night he sat through about an hour and 15 minutes of me talking about my favorite book series. And it was a very passionate retelling of what happened in the story, because he's not a reader. I know he wouldn't read the books. And he puts up with me, so I was like, I can absolutely do this for him. So it looks like painting takes about as much time as burning does, which makes sense. It's like I'm going through each individual leaf. So it's about the same amount of time. So hopefully, as with the burning, this will get faster as I get better at it. Yeah, my poor dog does not know the difference between real life and mirrors, so he tends to freak out whenever he sees something in the mirror. There doesn't even have to be anything there, there just has to be a mirror. And he's like, oh, an alternate dimension, I have to let you know about it. He's a sweet boy, though. He's dumb, but he's a sweet boy. Yeah, I wish there was a way to make this a little bit less sticky, like this paint, but I don't think there is. And if there is, it is probably some kind of medium that you add to acrylic that I would probably not be able to afford. That or maybe just water. But I don't want to dilute this. I like the consistency. I like the pigment level. Look at me using fancy words like pigment. Am I a pro artist yet? Yes? Awesome. Now the difficult part is going to be figuring out how to maneuver this around without getting paint everywhere. And that will be a magic trick I'm not sure how I'm going to pull off yet. So for now, I'm kind of going to just move it as so. And not as so, but like so. Kind of get some of these parts I missed. And hopefully not take up too much pigment from the rest of it. Okay. I'll stop fiddling with it because I'm just making it worse. But there's one out of many. Oh, and I did not think about this part. How am I going to detach these when my hands are covered in paint? Alright. We'll just do some shaking and moving. Probably not my smartest move. But not much I can do about this, unfortunately. The vines, no matter what I do, end up tangling pretty badly. It's just the nature of them, so cool, not too bad. I will do this though. Okay. Oh, we have a free leaf. Oh, and no magic heart pool. That's okay, we'll just toss it in there. Yeah, all of my spare leaves have been going to the magic heart pool, so. But unfortunately, because we are not burning right now, I do not have the magic heart pool available. It's like it does look kind of lazy just to be doing not like fully covering the leaves, but like first off, there's thousands of leaves. Thousands. I can't do all of them, especially not in 10 days. And second, I like it. So I'm going to leave it as is. It's just like with these. Like, I thought that I really liked the way that the burned ones looked, like where they were completely burned and had some that were, and didn't have any that were just regular leaves left as is, and I ended up really liking the way that it looked with unburned ones, so maybe it'll grow on me a little bit. If not, then that is a-okay, and I will just have to be a little bit dissatisfied with it. I probably should have worn a black shirt instead of this one, but this one is so comfy. It is my pajama shirt, so I am happy right now. This is kind of why I don't do a face cam most of the time, because I just look like a hobo and I don't feel like putting on makeup and trying to make myself look presentable. And I know you don't need makeup to look presentable, but I tend to have more confidence and I feel a little bit more confident whenever I do have makeup on. But I didn't feel like doing all that, so I'm perfectly happy as is with my hobo pajama shirt and no makeup and hair up in a ponytail. I think I've only done like 2 streams with a face cam, and I am okay not to do more than that. I don't know why I'm being so stingy with the paint. I have a giant 500 milliliter jar of it, so I should not be worrying about it as much as I am. I think I'm just worried about layering it on too thick, because that would be a problem. I'm probably going to get the leaves and then come back and get the stems. Oh, so this one had a couple I didn't get. Yeah. So that's going to end up being quite a bit faster whenever I get to the other ones that are not burned. Plus I like that a little bit more. You can't tell on here, but it's a little bit different. It's like mottled instead of just like thick layers on with parts missing. I can see the modeling a little bit more. I'm sure there is a little bit of mottledness in these, but it's harder to see it, I guess, because of all the curves and moves and stuff like that. Doing pretty good though, making good progress. So now let's go back and get these stems. I'm kind of hesitant to put this one down there, or down at my feet. I have a little box at my feet that I put all of my vines that I'm done with in. And of course, I, being the incredibly intelligent person that I am, hello? I hear something outside. Being that person, I ended up using my white basket instead of a cardboard box like I meant to do. And I ended up switching them around and put my unpainted ones in the cardboard box. So I might take a second here and switch that around so I can have a little bit more working space. Also, I'm not sure if I'm going to be going until 10 today. My partner gets home at 7, so I might end up spending the evening with him instead. But we'll see. He may just be in a quiet, non-social mood, and he'll play some Monster Hunter instead of hanging out and socializing and all that stuff. But let me go ahead and switch this stuff around. So let's see this. Oof. I'm kind of hunching over my work, and I should not be. I know better than to do that. And so this is my pretty little basket that I use. You definitely can't see it. But it's a nice little basket weave. I got it years ago. It actually was my little travel case for my bunny whenever I had rabbits. One of them was a Netherland dwarf, and she was super itty bitty, so she could very, very easily fit in there. And I just put a little wire frame over the top of it, and she was perfectly content. She had plenty of room to move and hop around and just rest, because she was a very, very good traveler. She spent most of it just sleeping. I do miss my babies. Okay. Alright, we are resettled. I'm gonna grab some coffee. I made coffee. Surprise. I actually got a new kind of coffee yesterday. I've been using Starbucks coffee, but it is just too expensive to keep doing that. Starbucks and this economy. So I switched to Great Value just because I wanted to try it out. I'm not a coffee snob. I don't really notice the difference in coffees, so it's not that big of a change for me. It is a little bit more bitter because this is like a medium roast, and I've been getting a blonde roast because I am not a coffee person, but that is okay. I can get used to that. I can adapt. I am adaptable, flexible. Okay. And it looks like these gloves are actually holding up really well. I'm stretching my hands. I was worried that these would tear. They would be kind of cheap, but these are actually very, very thick. So I am pleased. And they, thank God, don't have that latex smell. I got latex-free gloves because I hate the smell of latex. I used to use latex gloves. Oops, and we have a little hole right there. Oh, we have 2 holes. How did that happen? Wow. Okay. I used to use latex gloves whenever I would trim my dog because I kept getting hair splinters, and it was just atrocious, and I just ended up wearing gloves. I ended up stopping wearing gloves. Is that proper grammar? And just got used to it. And I don't wear gloves anymore for it, but I but we will adapt. We will overcome. I feel like that's some kind of slogan, and I hope it's not for a bad thing, but I don't remember what it's for. I don't think it's for anything bad. I hope not, at least. But yes, adapt and overcome and get over these hurdles. This has had not very, well, I don't want to jinx myself. This hasn't had very many obstacles, honestly. I've been able to find a workaround for most of these things. The only one that I know that I can't really get around is the whole sewing issue. And I don't know why I'm having such a block with the sewing. It's kind of driving me nuts, to be honest. But I'll get over it. I will figure out how to do it. I've made a little bit of progress on it, and Really, a little goes a long way. It's like the majority of this is going to be stuff like this, where it's mostly not working with fabric, which is something I was kind of worried about, but honestly the fabric is what's stressing me out at this point. I think because I'm trying too hard for the fabric, I need to lower my standards a smidge, which is not something I normally say for a costume, but I'm aiming for a level of perfection that I am not skilled enough to reach. So I can what's the word? Not admit. I can confess. I don't know. I can say that. I can happily admit that I am nowhere near skilled enough for what I am aiming for. But whenever you shoot higher than you're comfortable with, you tend to branch out. branch out and learn new skills, kind of like what I'm doing. So yeah, lots of fun. Life lessons, there you go. Yeah, I'm just gonna get all of these leaves first and then go back and get the stems. And it seems to be going faster this way. So that's a positive. Yeah, so a lot of this has been out of my comfort zone. Knowing that I'm walking into it on such a tight deadline and still going for it, I am proud of myself. Whether or not I am able to get this done in time, I am proud of myself for doing as much as I have and getting as far as I have. So that's nice. I kind of wish there was a little bit more time. I mean, obviously, I could say that until the day before, and I don't know. You can always use more time for cosplay. It's like I'm really starting to feel the crunch now. T-minus 10 days. Once it gets to a week, that's when the sleepless nights will begin. And those are kind of things I live for, to be honest. I enjoy those nights. It's like you stress out about them in the moment, but afterwards it's fun to think back and look back to. I've been toying with the idea of starting a little Discord server for crafters who may not be comfortable with streaming, or maybe they just want kind of like a break from streaming, but still want to be able to socialize and hang out with friends. And I know I'm kind of just talking to myself at this point, but I think it'd be really cool to have a group where you can just sit and you can have your camera on and you can just craft and you can hang out with people, because that is definitely something I miss from whenever I first started cosplay. It's like you felt like a little bit of the community. You felt social. you felt that friendship, and it's hard to get that, like especially with this pandemic that's happened. I mean, it's been rough. It's been rough for a lot of people, and I think having that would help. I mean, on a selfish level, I think it would help me a lot because I miss it. But I also feel like it'd help other people too. It's like it's fun just to sit and create and to have brainstorming sessions and ideas with other people without the pressure of worrying about entertaining or keeping things, I don't know, super interesting at all times. It's like stuff like this, like boring stuff. I mean, not a lot of people want to watch this. It's more of a hangout. And I remember the sewing parties that I did, it was literally just a hangout. We made jokes and just socialized, bounced ideas off each other. It's like, oh hey, can you help me think of something to do with this? And we did. And I mean, physically in person it was different. It was like, hey, I'm having trouble with this seam, can you help me real quick? Or can you help me fit this a little bit better? And they would. So obviously, I mean, you can't do that over camera, but stuff like that. I feel like it'd be a nice little social thing. I have an itch right above my eyebrow. I was not able to get it. There is a buggy flying right around here. Did I get it? Nope. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now let's go back and get all of these. Yeah, this is a lot faster than it would have been with the brush, but it's still going slower than I projected it would. Whoops. That's okay. Yeah, I definitely, for a lot of this, underestimated the amount of time that it would take. But I'm still hoping I can make up time somehow. Spread you out over there. I need to remember to grab the leaves instead of the stems. And there's 2 done. Alright. Let's see if we can fish out another one. Definitely very tangly. Okay. There we are. All right. So let's see, we're at 57 minutes. Let's see how fast we can get this done. Not even rushing, we'll just see how long it takes to get it. An estimated time. Yeah, thank God I thought about gloves. They have been for sure a lifesaver for this project. Initially with the wood glue, that was the whole reason that I got them, was because the wood glue that I was using for, or not wood glue, the wood paint stain that I was using for the bones, that stuff will stain immediately and it will not come out. It's like it is stuck there forever. It is stain, definitely. Does not matter what it is, whether it's plastic, whether it's skin, it is on, it is staying, and you are officially whatever color that stain is. I remember whenever I was younger, my dad actually stained our deck. He built a deck. He's definitely a handyman. I look up to him a lot. He taught me a lot of cool things. And for every summer, he would always add something else to the deck. He would always try and do something else, like a little bit extra. And so every summer he would get the same stain over and over again. And whenever I was painting the skeleton with the wood stain, I was like, man, this smell is so familiar, and I don't know why. And it occurred to me, oh yeah, that's my entire childhood summer right there. Like every bit of it. It's not the best smell in the world, but it's not bad. I'm hoping that this will give me a little bit of a confidence boost to keep going with what I'm doing with the sewing, because oof, that really got me down. I think I'll be okay. I think I just need something to go right, as it were. I wonder if I should start looking into audiobooks. That is something that has never really appealed to me. I have tried audiobooks in the past, and by in the past I mean whenever I was like in middle school, high school. The only audiobook I ever listened to was Aragon, because that was one of my favorite books at the time. I really, really loved it. because it was written by someone who was very young. Christopher Paolini, whenever he wrote it, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. Whenever he wrote it, I believe he was 20, 21. He was 19, 20, 21, around that age. And I was like, that's incredible. That's wonderful. I aspire to be this man. Because I was really, really big into writing. I definitely know that I would not be a writer. I enjoy writing. I love writing. It's very therapeutic to me, but I have never shared my writing except for once. Don't come for me. I wrote a fanfic based off of an image that one of my friends had drawn. Just like a little snippet. It was like maybe 200 words. And that was the first time anyone had ever read my writing. And it was so nerve-wracking, and I don't know why, but writing is just that one thing that I keep incredibly, incredibly private. But whenever I was younger, I wasn't as protective. I was kind of like, it doesn't really matter, it's not that big a deal. And then someone actually asked, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I can never, ever share. So, I don't know. I think it was just, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, audiobooks. And then I completely lost what I was trying to say about audiobooks. Oh, the audiobook that I listened to it was not great. I didn't like the voices that they did. I kind of just wanted to hear the book and not have to read it so I could multitask. And it didn't go as well as I thought it would. I just never really gave it a second chance. But I listen to podcasts sometimes. I remember back whenever I was at my old job where it was just kind of awful all the time, we were able to listen to stuff, and I listened to audiobooks. Not I listened to podcasts. Podcasts is what got me through that. Like I just moved from podcast to podcast. I watched 600 episodes of the Rooster Teeth podcast. And that is how I survived that job. Rooster Teeth podcast and Off Topic. I'm a huge Rooster Teeth fan. I love what they do in both content creation and just who they are as people. I think they're a good group of people. So they basically got me through that. And I really enjoy podcasts. But I haven't really listen to them nowadays. I watch a lot of Minecraft videos whenever I'm just like sitting and chilling. That's kind of my thing now, is just Minecraft videos. I feel like I should branch out more and see more people. That's why I've kind of started watching streamers more. It's really, really cool. Oh, goodbye. It's really cool to see the interactions between streamers and their audience. So I think that's what appeals to me, at least in the Let's Play kind of atmosphere. I definitely oversaturated this leaf, but that's okay. We're at almost 10 minutes with this, so this takes about the same amount of time as burning. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense going to each leaf and trying to affect it in some way, whether burning or painting. So it makes sense. But this also has the added stem that has to get done too. And I feel like it's going to go a little bit faster whenever I get to the